sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. President Trump is not going to tolerate it. And I'll work every day with Secretary Noem to make sure we get as many bad guys, illegal aliens out of this country that we can.
The Pentagon confirmed today that the entire deployment of 700 active duty U.S. Marines is being withdrawn from Los Angeles, more than a month after Trump deployed them to the city against the objections of local leaders. The redeployment of the Marines comes a week after 2,000 National Guard troops were withdrawn from the city. The troops were sent to the city last month by the federal government in a bid to intimidate locals amidst the immigration enforcement sweeps in Los Angeles. However, the Trump regime is significantly expanding its immigration detention network by using U.S. military installations now, including bases in New Jersey and Indiana, as well as expanding capacity at the Guantanamo Bay Naval Base in Cuba. This move raises concerns about the increased militarization of immigration enforcement and the erosion of civil liberties in the United States, as Trumpian concentration camps crop up across the country. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth apparently approved the DHS request to access Camp Atterbury in Indiana and Joint Base McGuire-Dix Lakehurst in New Jersey for the purpose of detaining undocumented immigrants. DHS has also requested to nearly double its detention capacity at the Guantanamo Bay Naval Base, a site long associated with indefinite detention and lack of legal recourse. While Guantanamo previously held about 200 migrants, that number has grown to approximately 500. The regime now plans to expand the facility's capacity, using it primarily for processing removals from Miami. Except the Department of Homeland Security doesn't have a great track record when it comes to maintaining standards. Migrants at a Miami immigration jail were shackled with their hands tied behind their backs and made to kneel to eat food from styrofoam plates like dogs, according to a report published today into conditions at 3 overcrowded South Florida facilities. The incident at the downtown Federal Detention Center is one of a succession of alleged abuses at jails operated by ICE in the state since January, chronicled by the advocacy groups Human Rights Watch, Americans for Immigrant Justice, and Sanctuary of the South from interviews with detainees. Dozens of men had been packed into holding cells for hours, the report said, and denied lunch until around 7 p.m. They remained shackled with the food on chairs in front of them. The report claims that degrading treatment by guards is commonplace in all 3 jails. At the Crone North Service Processing Center in West Miami, female detainees were made to use toilets in full view of men being held there and were denied access to gender-appropriate care, showers, or adequate food. The jail was so far beyond capacity, some transferring detainees reported that they were held for more than 24 hours in a bus in the parking lot. Men and women were confined together and unshackled only when they needed to use the single toilet, which quickly became clogged. These developments come as Trump's immigration crackdown intensifies, despite already holding nearly 57,000 people in detention, well above the system's official capacity of 41,000 beds. DHS continues to pursue new detention contracts and physical infrastructure. The agency has already reached agreements with the Federal Bureau of Prisons and various local governments, and now it's turning to the military. The Pentagon has also begun deploying National Guard troops to assist ICE in enforcement operations, with up to 700 troops already approved in states like Florida, Louisiana, and Texas. Additional deployments are anticipated in Arkansas, Indiana, Iowa, Nebraska, South Carolina, Utah, and Virginia. A prior DHS request to the Pentagon even asked for 20,000 Guard members to assist with activities ranging from nighttime raids and transportation duties to facility security. Critics argue that this use of military resources for immigration purposes poses a serious threat to democratic norms. The Trump regime has defended the expansion as necessary for national security and law enforcement. Officials claim the use of military sites will not interfere with regular training or military readiness. However, concerns remain that such moves are part of a broader effort to normalize mass detention and bypass traditional legal processes by blurring the lines between military and civilian authority. Adding fuel to the regime's immigration push is a recent uptick in funding. Congress approved a significant allocation in the latest tax and spending bill, including $45 billion for expanding immigration detention capacity and $30 billion for increasing ICE personnel, transportation, logistics, and maintenance of existing detention centers. Trump's tax bill will add $3.4 trillion to the national debt over the next decade, according to analysis from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office released today. At the same time, the regime is escalating its rhetoric against so-called sanctuary cities. Following a shooting of an off-duty federal officer in New York City, allegedly by an undocumented immigrant with a prior criminal record, Trump's allies have pointed fingers at local governments for failing to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. Tom Homan, Trump's immigration advisor, border czar, and former acting ICE director, vowed to flood the zone with federal agents in sanctuary jurisdictions. Homan, known for his hardline views and previous threats to arrest local officials who obstruct ICE efforts, declared, "Every sanctuary city is unsafe. Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals, and President Trump's not going to tolerate it."
Secretary said it, Rodney said it, sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. Stop. I've been doing this since 1984. I've never seen a situation like I see it today. New York City, how many times do you want to see NYPD attacked by illegal alien criminals in this city? Now a federal officer. How many citizens in this city have been attacked by illegal aliens in this city? You see the polls. Everybody agrees we should be arresting public safety threat illegal aliens, but you got a city council here to lock this out of Rikers Island. Are you kidding me? So an illegal alien in Rikers Island we can't talk to. We don't have access to. That makes the city unsafe. Every sanctuary city is unsafe. I'll say it again. Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. And I want to work very hard with Secretary Noem to keep President Trump's promise and his commitment several weeks ago that sanctuary cities are now our priority.
This aggressive stance raises alarm among legal experts and civil liberties advocates who warn that the administration is effectively criminalizing undocumented status while undermining local autonomy and due process. Sanctuary cities like New York have refused to allow local law enforcement to act as an extension of ICE, arguing that doing so erodes trust in police and makes communities less safe.
And I want to say one more thing. I'm sick and tired of reading in the media every day how ICE is not doing what the Trump administration has promised, that we're not arresting criminals, that most of the people we arrested are not criminals. I look at the numbers every day. The numbers I looked at the other day, 130,000 arrests and 90,000 criminals. Do the math, that's 70%. And who are the others? Others are those who have final orders, who had to process at great taxpayer expense. A federal judge ordered them removed, so ICE's job is to remove them. Who are the rest of the people? National security threats. Under Secretary Noem's leadership, they've arrested several hundred Iranian nationals. National security threat. They may not have a criminal conviction, but they need to be detained. They need to be arrested and taken off the streets of this country.
What makes these developments especially troubling is the context in which they're occurring. The expansion of detention at military bases in Guantanamo, coupled with the deployment of National Guard troops, suggests a shift towards treating immigration not as a legal and humanitarian issue, but as a national security threat. This reclassification enables the use of extraordinary powers while limiting oversight and public accountability. The regime's strategy circumvents traditional checks and balances by relying on executive powers first invoked through Trump's so-called border emergency declaration. DHS can commandeer military support without clear congressional approval or transparency about cost and long-term implications. During a congressional hearing, ICE Acting Director Todd Lyons stated that DHS did not plan to reimburse the Pentagon for all incurred expenses, essentially treating military resources as a blank check. And as civil rights groups warn, the normalization of military involvement in domestic immigration enforcement undermines democratic principles. It sets a dangerous precedent for how the government may respond to future crises, real or perceived, by leveraging military force against civilian populations. In the name of national security, America may be sliding further into a mode of authoritarianism defined less by the rule of law and more by consolidation of executive power, targeting of vulnerable populations, the poor, people of color, and the erosion of institutional guardrails meant to protect individuals' rights. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.meidastouch.com. All 100% USA union made.